Morning everyone! Welcome back to Path of Exile with Two-Headed Wolf Gaming. Let's get ourselves to the end game. We're very close. I'm hoping first of all that we'll reach the Ascendancy, get our third Ascendancy here, and then we'll go for the end game for defeating Itava. Hoping at least we can do today. I believe we'll reach today the Ascendancy. That's my main focus here. And if there's time, I don't think it will be more time today than that, but we'll do this. And then we'll decide if we need to do another episode or not to get to the end game. Very excited. It's been a few days coming, given that I had to record and do a bunch of stuff, do a few other videos, had to go to work. The beginning of the year, new plans, and trying to push for that end of the business year goals, right? Everybody is in a bit of a panic, trying to reach whatever the company set out to do. We're talking about making enough work and analysis and things like that to get the budget for the New Year's. So, and when I talk about the New Year's, it's the new business years, right? Like the new business year, not the calendaristic year. This quest we finished pretty quickly. I'm not gonna mingle any longer than I have to. We're just gonna get in, and we're getting out now to the Ravage Square. We'll need to go into the ossuary next, so that's what we're going to do. There's not really any other side activity that we can do here, well, except for ritual sites, but other than that, there's nothing here to be done any longer. Ooh, yeah, that was my fault there. Did I summon again? Yeah. Summoned too many. The reason why we're summoning two electric golems, two lightning golems, is because we have Spell Echo. Now, Spell Echo basically repeats the spell you just casted second time. I am very curious. I've seen it that it's part of this build, and I find it very curious. I can understand it with other spells, or with minion builds, because it makes them cast an ability twice. But adding it on the Arc, I don't feel it. I'm not sure exactly what its role is. I am imagining, like this is what I've been thinking of when I looked at the setup, that the reason why we put it in there is because the second spell might not use any extra mana. And so we're trying to get the most out of if we have inspiration and we also have the spell echo, there is a possibility that we might be able to use the Arc with plenty of other auras. So maybe that's the reasoning. We'll check it out and try to understand it by making it work, setting it up. And at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying about learning more of the game as you play, as you try different builds. Like you're trying to figure out, not everything is answered. Of course, the person doing the build, unless you are watching someone live where you can ask question and have them explain it, then most of the time following a guide is really just a hit in the dark. And so you'll have to figure it out along the way, try it out, see what the reasoning might be behind it, and things like that. Which is why I always thought, even now it's more acceptable, games are more accepted in society, and even education has opened these doors to how well kids can learn through gaming. But I feel like games have always developed the minds of the people. Either reflexes sometimes. I've seen, I think it was a documentary, like a video on, was it on World of Tanks? Something along those lines? Where they said that the military was recruiting people, were trying to look for people who played games, who were into games like World of Tanks or were into games, shooter games, because they said that for most of these kids, many of them have a lot more knowledge, come with a lot more knowledge inside the military than someone who's never had anything to do with gaming. And you can see how that works as an idea. At the end of the day, if you're taking someone who hasn't been interested in like tanks and things like that outside of the gaming world, you take them from scratch, right? And you try to make it work. I think the Trial of Ascendancy is on that side, so let's go there first. Yeah, because then we have to go around, I believe. Yeah, let's take the Trial of Ascendancy first. So yeah, I found that to be pretty interesting, like, and they were talking, like, for people who were playing World of Tanks, like, they said that there were plenty of people, of young men who were really knowledgeable about, like, the different tank parts, where they might be placed, like weak points and things like that. And that was quite cool. But then even people like doing Minecraft, there were teachers who taught physics through Minecraft, which I found pretty cool as well. Like, they found a way to do it. There are a lot of people who did modding and programming and things like that within Minecraft. So there's plenty of ways in which these games develop you, but even if you don't take a huge interest in it, it does open your mind to being creative, to different worlds, to different possibilities and things like that. And I think that as a secondary effect, even Path of Exile has that characteristic about it. Because at the end of the day, you've got a huge set. Let's see, avoid being shot, damage penetration, okay. Because at the end of the day, you have a huge set of set pieces that you are making, that you are putting together, right? You are trying to figure things out and make them work, and I think that develops your mind like anything else. Like, even if you are playing chess, right? You're thinking about tactics, you're thinking about how you can win. You're looking at different number, different how many moves you might have and things like that. So this develops different skills within you, different ways of thinking that you might not really think about in real life. And I think that is pretty cool. Let's see, what is this? Fidelitas Spike, too implicit, corrupted. I'll take a card. Why not? Okay, do we have everything we need? Deliver. Yes. Okay. Then let's take this here.
Here our ways divide.
We'll try with the energy shield. Don't know if it will work, but we'll try. 35 energy shield, 33 maximum life and lightning resistance. Yeah, not enough.
What do you need? Innocence forgives you.
Do we want
Freedom comes to
innocence?
those who fight.
Forgiveness? Even if he will be an ally.
For freedom.
Yes?
Okay, we'll set this in the inventory. And let's get ourselves an awesome new ascendancy. So, to the aspirant's trial it is. The Merciless Labyrinth. Now later on, there are people who are farming these areas every day, depending on how good the areas are. Like you, why are they farming these areas? Well, basically because they will get keys, and you know, there's the those rich chests at the end of the labyrinth. Like you can get some really good modifiers in there, some really good currency, some really good items. And so there are people who just farm these every day. And there is a place where every day the map of these areas gets updated. It tells you what is the shortest path, what might be the best path. There are days when it says like it's not a good day for farming. So you avoid the areas if it's too dangerous on, like basically it's the paths are too long to get to the end. What you want to do here is basically the shortest path. You want to get as quickly as you can to Izaro. You want to defeat him as quickly as possible, and then redo these areas over and over again. Get the keys at the end. There is knowledge, and we'll get into that in one of the future episodes as soon as we hit the end game. There are ways in which you can obtain multiple keys. One of the most common ones, or the easiest to remember, is not destroying whatever support the Izaro has, like the obelisks or the portals or things like that. If you don't destroy them, then you will get an extra key when you defeat Izaro at the end. And then there are other methods, of course, like you can find different keys on the map. I guess we'll have to go through there. Probably so, yes. And I find that pretty cool. I find the fact that you have the possibility to go and farm this for good loot. Like you're just doing this, or you know, someone is doing this, because it's not for everybody. I would get bored as hell, so I wouldn't do it. But the fact that you have the possibility to do it and it's rewarding for someone who enjoys it, that is absolutely amazing with me. This is the main reason why I don't get angry at different mechanics. Like I've seen some people do, like they don't enjoy a certain league in the game and they find it's boring and it's repetitive or things like that. I don't really go for that, because every time I hear things like this, I always seem to find someone who likes it. And I've been in the position, like even as I'm playing Thrones of Britannia right now, there are many people who do love Thrones of Britannia, and there are plenty more who don't. And their reasons are valid as well, why they don't like it. But you can't say it's bad for everyone. Tastes are very different, generally speaking. And so here we're about to get our third ascendancy, according to the build. Okay, we still have some good damage on his arrow, even at level 3. Cool. So we're going for the third ascendancy here. This will provide us with that ability that attacks always shock. And so we're gonna start to change our setup a bit. We're gonna need some new ways to do damage. We're gonna change our auras around. That means it's going to be a slightly different gameplay that we're going to have to figure out. It's not a huge deal, it's not a huge difference. Yeah, this is not the most friendly map, but with a little care, it's okay. I mean, if you think about it right now, one thing that will be very different is that we won't have the Herald of Lightning anymore, so these secondary lightning bolts won't appear. So we'll have to see what that feels like. Okay, brand new level up. Let's check our points. We are here now. And I am going for this with the 10 life on heal. Let's see, is this the way to forward? Yes. I think that if I was to be playing on my own, I might have just gone around and tried to get a few more chests or a few more other possible items. Although it's not that needed. The thing is, most of the loot that you get now at these points of the game, you'll be throwing away. So it's not always needed. But even on that off chance sometimes that you will get something special. I mean, by farming, by doing content around the map, we got our tabula rasa. And so it's not totally worthless. But there are definitely better chances to get good stuff if you play towards the end game. That's where the real riches are. Okay. Have to be careful here. Good. One more time. Let's make it through. Let's make sure we don't die. Two different paths, so it doesn't really matter what we take at first. I'm not sure we need to go through there. So I'm not. With our past character we didn't really care about poison damage, but with this one, given that the poison adds chaos damage, goes right through our defenses, right through our shields and straight into our life pool, so we'll avoid that literally like the plague. Okay, and now we're looking for the path forward. Okay, there's a secret here. You can see it on the minimap that there's a secret here. We just need to find ourselves a lever. Very curious. Generally, it's very close. Ah, there it is. And careful, there's always enemies inside here.
Dark influences reside in dark places.
We didn't get anything. There's a chance that you get different buffs that stay with you permanently through these. Which means if you're having a hard time, try to look for these different shrines. The effect is randomized, so just because on a run you didn't get a buff on a dark shrine, on your second run, go for it again and you might get. And there are some really good ones, like extra health or extra damage. Well, wish me luck.
I need more mana.
There it is. Time to get our ascendancy. Let's see. Let's open these. That's all the keys we have? Yeah. I'll get the armor scrap as well. And maybe these chain belts. Definitely take these. For divine font. I guess I'll put it probably on the boots. 65 chance to avoid being stunned if you've killed recently. That is pretty good. And we'll take a look now. Now I know what I'm going for, but let's check the guide. Just because we will want to. Let's see, Chrome. And this is the one. Good. Okay, so we're going here to Ascendancies. And it says that the third path we're gonna take is this one. Well, what does that mean? Shaper of Storm. This is notable, is a part of the new Elementalist Ascendancy, and I can almost guarantee you I will be rewriting this for T14. That's the next league. There is no way this doesn't get completely buzzed then when someone digs deep enough to figure out how to optimally abuse this. Given some fairly obvious mechanics, which this build sadly doesn't excel at using, you can make the Shaper of Storms act like 80% more damage notable. The reason why this is so incredibly potent is because its baseline allows you to shock an enemy for 15% damage taken increase, whereas usually you need to do damage to define a shock amount. This now completely bypasses that. On top of that, it gives you a shock effect multiplier, making all the shock ailment effect you find to multiply the already high baseline of 15% even further. For our build, this means that by using an Orb of Storms and adding 3 links to it, well, technically 2 as one of them is to do the same with Shaper of Winter, okay? This notable acts as 36% more damage taken modifier for enemies, which already is fairly bonkers. So we'll be causing them 36% more damage. That's why we're picking this with the Orb of Storms. We've achieved the Merciless Labyrinth here, and so we're about to take Shaper of Storms. Your hits always shock. All damage with hits can shock. Shocks from hits always increase damage taken by at least 15%, and 25 more effect of lightning elements you inflict with hits if the highest damage type is lightning. So let's see, we have 15,000 on our arc. This is 15,200, so not a huge increase in this, but it will be a lot more given the orbs. So, in the time that we have left, let's figure out how we'll make our Orb of Storm because there's not enough time to go for Kitava. So we're going back to our build first of all, and we'll check how this should look. We'll have Orb of Storms. Let's see, you'll automatically apply both of these ascendancies with Arc. Shaper of Storm Winter, okay, with Arc, but because you don't want to waste support gems on Arc and scaling its ailment effects, you're running a Orb of Storms to drop on a boss which runs ailment support to further increase your shock and chill effects. These generally go in the non-trigger wand, but if you want to add a fourth support link, which might be an issue cause of the alternate quality and their price, you're going to need to swap your rare ring to an unset ring. The new socket changes will be Zealotry, okay. So it says, we won't go into these details just yet, this is more to maximize a few things. We're going Orb of Storms, Awakened Unbound Ailment Support. So we don't have the Awakened just yet. Bone Chill Support. And Lightning Penetration Support. So what are we going to throw in first? Orb of Storms, let's see, what does it say here? The fourth link is Divergent Lightning Penetration, as we will get 4% more DPS in total at the cost of whatever base your ring was. So yeah, 4% more damage, it's a lot. Late game, not now. We're going to go Orb of Storms, Unbound Ailments and Bone Chill Support. Let's see what we have in our inventory. So we'll go with Orb of Storms. The Lightning Penetration Support, we've been leveling it up. I think we're gonna add it here, probably, right? I think it's probably a good idea to start.
We live in interesting times.
Since we do not use some of the auras because we do not have enough space, right? I am going to take actually let's remake our entire build, right? I'm gonna take just a bit more time. So we'll have Arc here. I'll take all of these out for now. And if let's take everything out from here as well. Inspiration, this Arc we're just leveling it up. Spell Echo, I've been leveling it up as well for it to reach maximum quality on a level up. Zealotry and Blood and Sand, we'll leave those there. So, well, what are we needing first? For here, Veil Arc. It says Arc really likes Awakened Gems, but as long as you can't afford them, obviously regular versions are fine. If you're running a non-Awakened Gem version, Lightning Penetration Support beats non-Awakened added Lightning Damage Support. So, this one, we're gonna use Lightning Penetration Support instead of the item added Lightning Damage Support. Why is that? Well, this one adds, at level 20, you can see down there, 21 to 402, so that is the maximum lightning damage, right? Supported skills deals 0% increased lightning damage, 0.5 per quality, so we can increase more, add more damage per quality. But the problem is, monsters have defense against lightning, so adding because the Arc already does lightning damage, adding the penetration here works better. Awakened orbs are actually so much better than... They take a lot to level up. It's like a upgraded version. It's like above level 20 type of orb or gem. So they add, you can see down there, it already adds from 29 to 543 plus the extra from quality. So you can do some really good things here. But what are we going to add? Well, Arc Inspiration Support Power Charge on Critical Strike Support. This means that we will also get 4 more damage per power charge. That's why we add it, because we can generate them pretty easily. We're gonna go Spell Echo. Supported spell skills, making them repeat when cast. Cannot support Veil skills, which is interesting because we're using Veil Arc. Totem skills, channeling skills, trigger skills, instant skills, or skills which reserve mana. So supported skills deal 50 less damage, supported skills repeat an additional time, supported skills have 71 to 75 more cast speed. That is pretty good. So they do cast a lot quicker, and final repeat of supported skill has 15 to 90% chance to deal double damage. Now let's do a very easy test. We have Spell Echo right here.
Greetings.
Let's go into our hideout, because that is a place where we can cast a skill, right? So we're using this simple arc, non-modified, and it costs 22 mana. Okay. If we're going to add a Spell Echo on it, you can see it costs 30 mana, but we attack twice. Sure, sorry about that. Let me change back. So we have 22 mana right here, and we're using, if you take a look there, it uses that mana. If I put Spell Echo, it goes to 30 mana cost, but it still costs 1, and we do this double attack. So that's what we're using Spell Echo for. Then I'm gonna put Inspiration first. Let's see. Inspiration right here. This will reduce the mana to 17 now. Or maybe we'll add Inspiration at the end. What else does it do? Gain Inspiration charge when you spend mana for supported skill. Lose all Inspiration charges after spending a total of 592 mana with supported skills. Deal 7% more damage per Inspiration charge, and 8% increased critical strike chance per Inspiration charge. Okay. Well, we'll add the power charge on critical strike. That is one that we need. Spell Echo is next. Then we'll have Awaken added lightning damage, but we are going to use the damage penetration. Where is it? Lightning penetration support for right now. And control destruction support, which is this. If we're taking a look at it now, it consumes 61 mana. Let's go to the arc. So that is here 61 mana, which is a lot. And we're going back to 47, which is still a lot. We have lightning resistance penetration 40%. That is pretty good. That means it doesn't really matter what they have on them. We will go through 40% of the resistance. Shock effectiveness is 37%. That is pretty good. There's a lot of critical strike here multipliers, depending on whether we do the critical hit or not. There's chance to shock, freeze, and ignite. So this is pretty good. You can see that our damage has slightly gone down from, you know, like I could throw in this lightning instead of this lightning penetration, but look at that. Lightning resistant penetration 40%. This one goes down to 6%. And resistances can really screw you up. Okay, so we're done. We're done with one of them. Next, we could go with Wrath. We're gonna start with Wrath here. because it provides us an additional lightning damage with attack, and you and nearby allies deal 15 to 21 more spell lightning damage. So once again, we need here Wrath, Clarity, Flesh and Stone, and the Enlightened support. Like, we won't be able to run, let's see, 50%. This one has some mana multiplier, like depends on the skill level. We have another 25 from Flesh and Stone. So I've moved here the stone golems. Summon stone, flame golem, lightning golem, and chaos golem. We went here to Lily. I got blood and sand that we leveled up until now. I've added wrath from the wand. I've added clarity that we got from Lily. And the cool thing about clarity is that you can level it up. Starting from level 1, you see 34 mana reserve, takes it all from this mana pool here, and then keeps adding it on top. Let's see, what else are we going for next? We do not have Enlighten yet. Zealotry, we're leveling it up until we have the Owl's Amulet to make it free. What else? Flame Dash, Second Wind support, Arcane Surge, and Veil with a Righteous Fire. We have that running already on us, if I'm not mistaken. Well, Flame Dash, Second Wind support, Arcane Surge. I guess we could move them here with the Righteous Fire.
Greetings.
So what I need is for these boots to be slightly green, like that. Flame Dash, Second Wind, Arcane Surge, and I'll throw in this, which will probably be influenced. Let's see, does it influence it? Yeah, Veil Righteous Fire, so it will recharge twice, this Veil Righteous Fire. Okay. Finally, let's take care. We need the Assassin's Mark to start leveling it up, and we need the Wave of Conviction. We'll need to have a Trigger Wand. Basically, Trigger Wand cast spells automatically. So we'll have to work on that pretty soon. Orb of Storms, Awaken Unbound Ailments, Bone Chill, and Lightning Penetration. Which has to be divergent in order to contribute. We don't have a divergent Lightning Penetration. We will need to go on heist for that, but we can get ourselves the Bone Chill and the Awakened Unbound. Let's see. Unbound Ailment support. This increases the duration of ailments on enemies. Have 25% increased effect of non-damaging ailments on enemies. And supported skills deal 25 more damage with ailments. So we'll take this. Orb of Storms, this, Unbound Ailments. And we need also the support. I keep closing it. Chill. So Bone Chill support. Supported skills have 25% increased effect on chill on enemies. Enemies chilled by supported skills take 10% increased damage over time. And increased effect and other things like that. So we have these three. We will need our wand. Let's see, so Orb of Storms, it should be here. +1 level to all lightning spell skill gems. So I want that. I will combine these. And I will throw this in. It's not gonna be as strong at this point, but it should be good. And then we have Wave of Conviction. I think it's a pretty good idea to continue leveling up some of these for the cache. Arc added lightning support, we will need it later on. Spell echo as well. Other than this, there's nothing really that I feel like we will need anymore. So I'm going to go back into this stash. Never sell. Never sell these. You never know exactly if this, at this point of the game, this will work. Given our current situation, if I'm going back to our hideout and we throw in, like, let's have, first of all, I will be summoning, I'll put on, have to get used to this new icon, so we'll have Wrath. I will not summon Skitterbots because it doesn't really matter anymore, I'm just leveling it up. I'm gonna go with Clarity because I want the mana regeneration. And I will have Blood and Sand. Let's summon all of the others golems. We will need the... so we have Chaos Stone, we'll need the lightning one. Here it is. What does this do? So it says that Blood and Sand casts a buff that grants different bonuses to melee skills depending on your stance. Using the skill again alternates between Blood and Sand stance. Blood stance and Sand stance. Melee skills deals 5 less area damage. Okay, so at this point I am not sure what is the role. Oh, it's not Blood and Sand, it's Flesh and Stone. Ooh. Yep, so I've been leveling up the wrong skill there. And it doesn't make sense.
Just make life complicated.
I generally use these together, like Blood and Sand and Flesh and Stone. You use them early on in the game for melee builds. So Flesh and Stone, nearby enemies are blinded while in Sand stance. You take 9 less damage from attacks from enemies that aren't nearby while in Sand stance. And nearby enemies are maimed while in Blood stance, and enemies maimed by this skill have taken increased damage. So what we're using it for actually is the Sand stance, which will be a defensive stance for us. That is pretty good. And we have this, so we are now using our arc at 14,500 with 40% penetration, so we're doing better than we did before. But wait, we're not done, right? We will activate here. Now let's take this out. I'll put the Orb of Storms here. We'll keep Veil Arc and Veil Righteous Fire. I don't think... maybe the Wave of Conviction will keep it there for now. But now we'll cast Wrath. This will mean 43% mana reserve because we do have the ability here in the passive skills with the reduced cost. We're at 17,600. I am gonna act with Clarity because I want just a tiny bit more mana reserves, and then I'll do Flesh and Stone in the Sand mode. This just makes it defensive for us. Now we can't really go, like if we were to add, let's bring Zealotry to the front. If I was to use Zealotry now, let's say I take off Flesh and Stone.
When I'm ready and not before.
I'm not sure how to cancel it other than removing this. So if I was to bring Zealotry in, we would stay with 208 mana. That means that after 4 of these attacks, we're gonna run out of mana. Or look at the damage with Zealotry. So adding Zealotry, that's 3000 extra damage. And we can keep the mana up. Oh, but we can keep all of these up because we're not leveled, we're not at the max level of Arc and stuff. I think for now I prefer, because we take a lot of damage. I'm not sure we will need Zealotry just yet. Just as an idea. I am going to throw in back Flesh and Stone. And I'm gonna keep it on the sand one, sand stance. And this should be pretty good. Like, I hope I explained enough how we make this work. I'm really looking forward to the next episode, where we're gonna put our build into practice as it's coming together now. And with that in mind, I hope you have enjoyed it. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everyone.